Sup YouTube, welcome back to another video documenting my journey to legend. I know, I've run this team already thrice on this channel, but this time we're actually gonna do it to great success. We're still rocking Dragonite Double Steel, and in the past 2 days I've managed to climb 250 plus ELO, and I'm hoping that I can teach you guys maybe a thing or two about using this team. Again, I have other videos on this team, but I want to go a little more in depth in this video. Before I get started with the battles, massive shout out to a man who needs no introduction. Or should I say a boy? It's your boy, OG Boy. Thank you so much for your support on the channel, man. He makes a lot better content than I do, so definitely go give him a follow and subscribe to his channel. Without further delay, let's get into these battles. So again, Dragonite Double Steel, it's a team that is common, as I was told in my comments, but also it really is a common team. However, just because it's common doesn't mean that you can't play out of some difficult matchups, and I hope to showcase that to you in these battles. What are my credentials? None, not really. I've hit legend once before and that's about it. But what I have is a particular skill set that no other Pokemon Go PvPer YouTuber has. And that is that I am incredibly mediocre at this game. So, what I hope is that if I can make it to legend, if I can climb with this team, then you guys who are much better battlers than I am will have much better success. As you can see in this first matchup, you launch the superpower against Dialga. If you get a shield, you come in with Exca. You will be met by Free Willy the big whale, but you don't have to shield. Here they actually helped me out by not building up to the Origin Pulse or the Thunder, so I knew I would survive that. And then they immediately come in with Lugia, and this kind of sets me up because now I can overfarm. I can wait for them to send off the Aeroblast. Seldom do they bait, so it's pretty safe to shield the first one. You do have some savages that just, bait you because they're looking for a win condition, and sometimes they get it, but seldom do they bait. Here they don't build up to the Aeroblast, so I'm gonna tank this move. The Dialga has about an Iron Head and change loaded. I forget if he launched it against the Excadrill. I don't think he did. So here he comes, right, to launch this Iron Head. At this point, I got a shield, which kind of sucks. And now I'm gonna farm as much as I can. And here I might make a bit of a misplay. I should have undercharged this a little more. And here I try to catch. Lucky for me, I would have reached the Dragon Claw, as you can see here. Like a dumbass, I was going for the superpower. I thought that would KO me, so I was trying to go for the Meteor Mash. But I would have made it to a Dragon Claw and we would have KO'd the Lugia anyway, but a bit of a slight misplay. Mewtwo leads are really awkward because there's usually a Kyogre in the back, and if it's not a Kyogre, it's some random assortment of Pokemon that usually your backmons are really good against. But if it is a Kyogre and you don't bait it out, then you're diddly screwed. So we managed to catch a Psy Strike, which is typically what I like to do. Try to learn to read your opponent's timing. Like, when do they throw? Do they throw immediately? Do they overfarm by 2, overfarm by 1? People are creatures of habits, so typically that's what they'll be doing. I don't know what my opponent was doing with staying in with the Mewtwo. They should have came in with the Kyogre immediately, and that's why I baited. I also sent the Meteor Mash here because I thought I wouldn't make it to an Earthquake, but they swapped on me. Had I seen that swap coming, I would have been able to make it. Here I'm gonna outpace to a Drill Run. I underfarm it, or undercharge it, sorry, because I want to get more farm on this thing. Hindsight, I would have undercharged a lot more. They bait me like a freaking savage. They come in with Free Willy, but now I can get some moves off on this thing. They're still 2 or 3 away from the next Surf, so I don't have to be super cautious about my health just yet. And here they're getting to the Surf. I will have to throw some moves. I think they noticed how much damage this is doing, and I think they either lost track of my energy or they thought that I would make it to a move, and so they throw. And because of that, I'm able to get to this Drill Run, and we take out big Free Willy. The Big Willy. All right, next up, we got Yveltal in the lead. This is pretty much where you want to see it. Even though Exca has a much better matchup against it, it's kind of an awkward matchup, just because Exca is so scraggly, just because he's so fragile. When you send off the Drill Run against an incoming Dialga, you're gonna have to invest a shield regardless. This baits. I was gonna say a curse word. This dude baits, but just charge it up into a Great and then farm all the way down, invest a shield, and you'll come out with a boatload of energy. The Yveltal is going to be 2 away from the next Dark Pulse, and you will CMP. I wasn't sure who won CMP. I learned here that I lose. I'm also running an underpowered or underleveled Excadrill. So, you know, you don't have to have the highest mons. Here it was kind of RPS. They had the budget's version of a Xerneas, the budget's version of a Zacian in the back. And we take that match. What do you do in the possible mirror match? You try to catch. But so did my opponent. This is honestly the matchup I'd prefer. I'd rather have it on the Metagross instead of the Excadrill. Again, is really, really fragile. Mine is underleveled. If you don't have an Excadrill, you can replace it for a Melmetal, but I would still recommend the Excadrill. If you do use a Melmetal, definitely go with the normal moveset of Rock Slide and Superpower. Double Iron Bash has its niche uses, but I would honestly prefer the original moveset. My opponent throws the Superpower against my Metagross, which allows me to farm it down, and they concede the match. I'm going to assume it was an Excadrill in the back, maybe, or something I would have had some play against. Here I misplay this. They come in with it. I should have thrown the Dragon Claw in between their Dragon Tail and either guaranteed damage or guaranteed a shield. But because I didn't, that's going to end up biting me in the ass because I'm not going to be able to use that energy, as you'll see. Again, the Metagross matchup is typically pretty favorable for us. They haven't thrown a move yet. Oh yeah, they did. I'm sorry. They sent the Arrow Blast, but they won't reach it if they don't invest shields. They won't reach the next move if they don't invest. They come back in with Palkia. They throw immediately. I can let this go down. Oh man, I'm regretting it now. That Dragon Claw would have KO'd, and it's a Zacian in the back. And in the 2 shields, seldom do you win if your opponent is a lot smarter than you, which he is here. Yeah, I was capped at 100 energy, which is why I didn't throw an additional Mud Shot. And they're farming up. They're going to farm up to the back-to-back. They will outpace me. And I was hoping maybe if I shielded that my switch timer would be up, but no shot. So we take this heartbreaking loss from a play that was much more playable. Had I gotten that Dragon Claw off, I would have gotten a shield. Why? Because they were baiting out a Metagross in the back, and they would have wanted to save their Palkia for that. So if you ever find yourself in this awkward-ass matchup, definitely try to throw in between their Dragon Claw so that they can't catch, and throw before they swap out. Dialga, same thing as the first game. You build up to the Superpower, you throw it immediately because you will outpace to the Iron Head. You will get a shield. If you get a shield, come in with Exca. If you don't get a shield, come in with Metagross. And now, savages, all of you savages, baiting. I've noticed that when they're in the lead and you swap in Exca, some of them bait the Iron Head in order to save some energy on that Dialga for the Dragonite matchup, because you might outpace to another Superpower. Here I try to get off as much damage as I can on the Giratina, and I don't think they will, yeah, they don't get to another move, and they will come back in with the Dialga, but I know that I can outpace. So right now they're at about maybe like 10, 11 Dragon Breaths. They let it go, and I bring in Metagross immediately as soon as I see that Psychic typing, because I know it's a Mewtwo in the back. And I've learned my lesson, boys and girls. I've started to shield. And now you're in a dominant matchup. You'd rather shield a Shadow Ball than unshield a Shadow Ball and then have to shield a Psy Strike because you possibly will get outpaced. You survive a Shadow Ball from full health, so saving that first move is usually the right play because your opponent isn't going to want to throw a double resistant move onto a Metagross because they'll look like an idiot if you don't shield. So typically they'll go for the correct move. Here I swap into Exca, and if this Kyogre decides to farm me down with proper timing, you will reach that next drill run. So you'll leave it in some sort of like farm down range, and if they panic, which they will, they'll be one away from an Origin Pulse or a Thunder. And as I say that, I'm speaking shit. Never mind. I guess they did reach it. But I waited down the switch timer, which is why I didn't take it out immediately, and took the damage and then farmed it down. And now, since they're not swapping out, this leads me to believe that they have a Dialga in the back. The God of Time. Is that what he is? Time, or is it space? I don't remember. If you're liking the video so far, definitely leave a like. Consider subscribing if you're into the content. It just allows more people to reach this video. And I'm really trying to show people that this is a really viable team. XL team, yes, but no legendaries, no raids needed. Pretty much free to play, especially after that remote raid. Incredibly stupendous decision by Niantic. And as you can see, throwing on proper timing really makes these games come down to the wire because you get just enough energy to be able to take matches like this. Another Dialga matchup. I think this is my last 2 sets, so it's not exactly pickpocketed team. It's just, I went on a pretty good run with it. It wasn't a 9-1, but it was a 9-1 run. Again, you get the shield, you come in with Exca. They will, they bait again, these motherfuckers. They come in with Lugia, but because it's a shadow, this is a much better matchup for Excadrill. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this one goes straight Sky Attack. You survive a Sky Attack. Yes, I'm under-leveled by like 5 or 6 levels, something like that. You still don't have to respect a Sky Attack. However, still throw on proper timing, don't panic, and they might be able to flip this if they decide to shield. They don't. And now they bring in Togekiss, and I'm perfectly okay with this. Just bring in your Metagross. They're gonna bring in Dialga. I think I tried to make a catch. I don't really remember. Or maybe I shield once. Is this guy gonna bait me again? He baits me again, the absolute mother... Oh, you'll love to see it. If these are you, like if you bait, kudos to you, man. Don't panic, the Togekiss only had like 3 or 4 charms, max. It still needs 5, which means you'll get there before they reach the Flamethrower. And you'll take this game. No need to make any fancy plays, try to get smart. That's usually how you die. That's usually how you get your ass handed to you. This is a really solid matchup. This is a really awkward save swap. So I throw before they throw off their move, and I'm gonna make a bit of a misplay. Remember how I said I learned how to shield? Well, here I was kind of afraid that if I gave them any sort of leeway, that they would be able to come in and farm me with the Giratina. And I didn't want that to happen because Metagross, even though it does really solid damage against it, it's just not the matchup you want to be in. So here I'm banking on Exca having play. I'm saving 2 shields for it. I'm gonna farm this thing all the way down to Shitty Pot Town, and in comes, I think it's a Dialga. In comes the Dialga. I send the superpower immediately before the switch timers are up, and then I bring in Exca and up 2 shields. You know they're gonna bait. You know they're gonna bait, but you don't want your little mole rat to just get nuked off the existence of this planet. So shield. Even if you don't want to, even if you really want to call it. And I'm gonna go on 7, so we CMP, and I think that I can outpace. I really do think that I can outpace. And so I'm gonna shield this. Luckily for me, they do full send the Shadow Ball. I can farm up a little, and I go for the catch. And I don't know if my opponent thought that I was closer to a Dragon Claw than I was, or if they just panicked. But this gave me the win condition that I needed. They swap out, but now I have the back-to-backs loaded, and the Giratina is in drill run range. So we take that win. Again, sometimes you win because of your opponent misplays, and sometimes, you know, you lose because of your own misplays. Another Dialga lead. This is like the most common lead I saw, apart from Zacian. Lower in the like early 2500s, I was seeing a lot of Zacian leads, and then as soon as I climbed up past the 2550s, I saw more Dialga leads. Again, they bait me like a freaking savage. And now they bring in Palkia, which does have access to Aqua Tail, but you outpace to these 2 drill runs. And if they let this go, I'm just going to try to make a play for Switch. Because I'd much rather have Metagross on the Dialga, even if I got to eat a freaking Meteor Mash. And now I come out with some energy, and I'm just hoping I didn't screw this up. They come in with Giratina, and I'm like, damn, I can outpace to another drill run, but they throw an ominous wind to take me out and save some of their health without having to use a shield, which is a play. And as soon as they bring in the Dialga, I swap into Metagross. I know that I tank a Draco Meteor, and I'm just gonna farm until I get pretty low, but before they build up to an Iron Head, so that I have enough residual energy to throw this Meteor Mash at the Giratina, force the shield, and then hopefully, I'll pace to a Dragon Claw. Did we make it? Did we clutch it? Yes, we did, because Ominous Wind does not KO from that range, and we take that game. G to the G. Those were some of the battles that I played that got me up. Well, you'll see in a second. I haven't hit Expert quite yet. but I'm getting there. I'm about 100 points away. If you like this team, I really think this team is super accessible to everyone. There's been multiple comm days for Dragonite and Metagross. There's been research days and stuff like that. They've been prevalent in the wild. Excadrill is sort of in the wild right now in certain parks during like sunny weather, or Drillbur, I should say. So if you can, build up these mons. Master League is going nowhere. And I think that this team is really, really viable, especially if you're free to play, especially if you're balling on a budget and you don't have the resources to invest into raids. Nothing feels better than clapping legendaries with a non-legendary team, especially using Pokemon I love. Excadrill has gained a soft spot in my heart. Dragonite's the OG dragon, Tubby the 2-ton Tubby Tubster, and Metagross is obviously incredibly strong. I hope you liked the video. Subscribe, like, all that jazz, and I'll catch you in that next video. Peace!